We're given to feuds in Irish history. Feuds are nothing new. So for sure you could trace all the grievances in Bohan back to older grievances as well. But I also wanted it to exist as its own world and its own place without necessarily having these strings pulling it out there. But I think any book that's worth its salt you can read in different ways with references to the world that's there, our own world, and other tangents that might come away from that.
And I had the experience last year in the US of, God bless them, in some university they were looking at City of Bohan, my first novel, which I wrote around 2009. So and it's a very strange experience going back to read your work from even just over a decade ago, because it's kind of like visiting a ghost of yourself. You're a different person. I mean, there's nothing mysterious about prose style. It's your personality.
Yes.
Projected very directly on the page, and you're changing all the time as a person, So the work, it shows up very clearly in your prose style.
Ireland is a very small island, a wet, tormented little rock on the edge of the Black Atlantic, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots of Irish writers, and you throw a stick in Ireland and you hit a poet over the head, or a playwright, or somebody. So when you're emerging as a writer in Ireland, you can sometimes feel, oh God, it's all been done, it's all been done to death. But the more you look around, you find actually that there are whole swathes of Irish society that have never been committed to paper. For example, the working class speech of cities like Limerick and Cork and Galway have very, very rarely appeared between book covers. And it's not for any particularly sinister reason, it's just that those communities weren't in the way of producing books. So there's actually a whole really interesting sort of stream of Irish talk that's never been done, that's never been caught, I think. So the conversation of the city of Bohan would be very recognisable to anybody who knows the talk of Cork City or Limerick City, and the way the young and those who fancy themselves as cool would talk in those cities. And the City of Bohan is lots of things, but what it is ultimately, it's a projection of what homicidal teenage hipsters might sound like in such an Irish city in the middle of the century. And as such, it was great fun to write. And it's a belated discovery you make as a writer that you should be having fun. You should be having a good time. It shouldn't be like the biopic version of a writer's life where you're and battering your head off the wall and crunching up the page and throwing it to the bin, You should be laughing and you should be having a howl. You should be having a really good time in there. Because if you're not having a good time, the chances are the reader is not going to have a good time down the line. And I had a great time writing City of Bohan, to the point that I'd probably be tempted to head for that dark, malevolent city again at some point.